Welcome back and Happy New Year.
What's up? Happy New Year.
What's up, Mike?
What's going on, man? You good?
I'm good. I'm good.
This is fun. Look at us. Back in person.
Yep. Back in
You're
person.
Back in person.
Yep. We kind of figured out that maybe this is the best way to do it.
I missed you.
I missed you too.
I missed you. You know, it was fun, sitting there and doing the split screen, but this is better being here in person.
Yep. I feel your presence. You have a good vibe, Mike. And we're going to roll with that today.
Cheers, everybody, to
Cheers.
Happy New Year.
Yep. Clank. Yeah, we got a great show for you planned. Lots to talk about. There's been a lot going on, especially football. I'm excited to get into it. I know you are too.
Yes.
But let's get to your holidays. How were your holidays?
Holidays were good. Pretty low-key this year. Quiet. Had a lot of family out of town, which is fine. So no complaints.
Yep.
Things were good. I enjoyed a nice 11, 12-day stretch off from work. So
that's always a bonus.
Not complaining about that at all.
Yep.
How was yours? I know you went somewhere warm.
Yes. Yeah, it was warm, kinda. No, it was nice. It was went down to see my dad and my stepmom, my stepbrother down in Florida. Had a great time. Got to stay with them for a few days. We did Christmas again with them. Can't complain. Went to Kissimmee. Actually, it's funny because I was calling it Kissimmee.
Yeah.
And they will correct you if you say Kissimmee. No, it's Kissimmee.
You're wrong. You're
like,
wrong.
Okay, I'm sorry. Jeez. Okay. But anyways, no, we had a good time.
Did you see Mickey Mouse while you were there?
I did not see Mickey Mouse. I was looking. Like my son was obsessed with you for a bit. But no, it was a good time. Holidays are always good. It just fly by so quick.
Yeah, it did. That 11 days went by really fast.
It does. It really does. But that was a nice break, nice reset. So back at it. Now we're, got to get through these last few months before maybe it gets warm again because
I can't take it.
I can't take this anymore.
7 degrees when we woke up this morning.
Yeah. Yep.
What the hell is that? That sucks. I'm done with it. I'm already done with it. I feel like once Christmas and New Year's is over, then the cold can go too.
Yes. And we mean 7 degrees Fahrenheit, not Celsius for you Canadians and whatever. Okay? No, 7 degrees Fahrenheit.
7. Solid 7.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm done with that BS right there.
Yep, for sure.
So you said we got a good show today. Lots of football, lots of Lions. We're gonna cover the wild card games this weekend.
Yep.
Give our picks for that.
And we'll recap the Lions Vikings game from this past weekend. Some season accomplishments for the Lions because they nailed off a lot of them.
Yes, they did. The list is quite long.
Yeah, very special team. We're gonna recap our playoff predictions from week one.
We'll see how good we were and who we picked getting into the playoffs.
Whether we know what we're actually talking about or we need to shut the show down.
This could be the final episode.
Yeah. This is going to be the telling. So, but
I don't know. You hear a lot of these NFL analysts talk, okay? They haven't picked the freaking Lions to win a game in like 3 weeks, okay? And they still have jobs.
That's a good point. Yeah, good point.
So, I don't care how far off we are, all right? I think we deserve to be here. If they can do it, we can do it. And they're wrong all the time.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And you know what? If the Greenberg guy is going to get an interview with the Jets, and then maybe we can fill his spot.
Why not? They need more mics out there, right?
They need more mics.
That's right.
We need
I can't believe that he's getting an interview.
Either he did or he's...
That'd be like you and I getting an interview. Like, okay, granted, he knows sports a lot more than we do. Probably that's his 9 to 5 job. I get it.
Yeah, right.
But you're an analyst. Like,
I don't know. To me,
really
that's like
fit to go run a football team.
That's like George Costanza getting an interview with the Yankees. Well, actually, he did work for the Yankees in the show. So I guess who knows.
So next year we'll be looking for our interviews. Whatever team wants to call us in for a GM.
Yeah, we'll send you our resume. We already got it ready.
We'll be good to go.
I feel like, you and I could probably do a better job than a few of these teams, especially one in particular in our division. Anyways.
I at least know when to call a timeout properly.
Seriously. All right, well, let's get into it, Mike. Let's get into this Lions and Vikings game.
Number one seed.
Number one seed.
We got the bye week, 15-2. Are you kidding me?
The whole, with all these injuries coming up, like we were just like, please hold on. Just please hold on for dear God. Win the division, get that number one seed, and you know what? They freaking did it. They freaking did.
And I don't know what defense that was out there, but I am mad at you.
Now they had Thor out there, you know what I mean? He just swinging his hammer around and just tearing shit up.
Absolutely amazing to see them go out there and shut Minnesota down like that. Unbelievable.
You know what? The game reminded me a little bit of like the Michigan-Ohio State, because it seems like, I don't know if we realize that, I think the Lions have beaten the Vikings 4 times in a row.
Yeah, I think that actually was the 5th.
Is it 5th now?
I think it was 4 going into the game, 5 that we won that game, yeah.
Because the Vikings all season long have played pretty clean, but like that was not a clean game. They look like...
We made Sam Darnold look bad.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, he could never settle his feet. He's throwing over guys, around guys. I mean, he was just...
Jefferson wide open a lot of times. I mean, Amik did a hell of a job, but he did have Jefferson open and just completely missed him.
Oh, for sure. And then even the coaching staff, too, I think their game plan was not good, because the one thing they were doing really well was running the ball. They were running the ball. I think they averaged over 6 yards a carry, and they just completely gave up on that. They're like, nope, we're going to throw Sam Darnold back there, throw 41 times, complete 18 of those, and just hope for the best. And he was... I feel like they never really gave him a chance to settle down. And I think Zadarius Smith, that sack early on, ever since then, it just seemed like he was seeing ghosts out there.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
And it almost looked to me that because we went up on them, and we were always up at them, it felt like the Vikings were trying to play our game.
Yes.
They were trying to be the Lions.
Trying to go for it on 4th down.
Going for it on 4th down, causing some calling some wacky plays.
Yep.
And I remember watching the game saying, they're trying to beat us. Mm-hmm. And you can't beat it. I still don't think Minnesota would have won, but I think they would have had a better chance if they would have just stuck to who they are, what they did all season.
Yeah.
Because it looked like they were just trying to beat us at our own game, and that's just not going to happen.
Yeah, you can't do that.
We've been doing it for 2 years in a row now. Mm-hmm. These schemes that we have, I'm not even talking trick plays, just our schemes that we have and the type of plays we run, and you're going to come out and try to do that in one game, and then we see what happens, 0 touchdowns. So I'm not mad at it.
And you know what, too? Like, when a team gets punched in the mouth and they can't respond, like that's what happens. You know what I mean? Like if you punch a team in the mouth and they can't respond. Actually, I thought the Vikings defense played really well, especially in the first half.
Yeah,
I mean, they lit us up. That Gibbs, they freaking knocked him back to Alabama.
Blasted. Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't believe that kid got back up.
What was it? 10-6 at halftime?
Yeah, I mean it was close.
Vegas was shitting themselves because they had it at like over 50-some points
for the over.
We're going in at halftime at 16.
Right.
I mean, I was surprised about that. I mean, I did think the Lions were going to win. I did not see it being the first half being that low.
I could have saw like a 34-31 type of game because I thought they were just going to like. I mean, you got Justin Jefferson, the best receiver on the planet. Like, just throw the ball. Like, the thing is, Sam Darnold couldn't even get it in his vicinity. But usually you just get it into his vicinity, he comes down with it.
Addison?
Yeah, nothing.
0 yards.
Yeah. 1 reception, 0 yards.
0 yards.
If you would have told me that, I'd be like, you're smoking crack.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think we exposed them for who they are. Mm-hmm. And I honestly thought, in this game, not only did it have the division on the line, the bye week on the line, the number 1 seed, I truly believe that whoever lost that game was going to lose the first round of the playoffs.
So like that game you're going to lose twice. Yes. Essentially. Yeah.
And I thank God we didn't because I didn't like thinking like that. I just felt like that was it, right?
Yeah. Well, also too, you're going to go to LA and play the Rams. Like that's not an easy task, even for the Lions. Like if the Lions had to go to LA next week and play the Rams, like that could be a pick 'em. Like as far as Vegas is, that could probably be a pick 'em because I think the Rams are playing pretty well. They got the receivers back. They're still a little banged up, but like they're well coached. Like I don't see Minnesota coming out of that game. Like you said.
No, neither do I.
Yeah,
I think they're done. I think the Rams are going to get them.
Yeah.
So I'm watching the game. I know the division's on the line. The number 1 seed's on the line. I wasn't thinking about either of those two. I was more excited about the bye week.
Yeah.
They won, and I'm like, we got the bye week. I didn't even say number 1. I didn't say we're division champs. We got the bye week because we need the rest so bad.
Yep. And selfishly, I'm excited that I can watch football and just chill and relax.
It's a stress-free weekend coming up.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a couple good games, but yeah, no, that was big. That was really big to knock that out because, I mean, they're going to get Montgomery back. They're going to get some of these guys back. Anzalone's going to be 2 more weeks healthier.
Demo's coming back.
Yeah,
Demo will be back in the divisional
round. That's
big. That is huge.
Because Gibbs was not going to survive. I mean, I know he's tough and he's this and that, but like you're not going to survive taking hits like that and taking the brunt of that carry. I mean, what do you have? 180 yards total. I don't know how many touches he had, but I mean, he was the offense. He was the offense.
Yeah. But you
just can't do that.
As good as he is, he can't sustain that type of production. That's why him and Demo work so well together.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
They go hand in hand. Yeah, one of them can take over a game when in the other's absence.
Yeah,
but I don't think that can go long term.
It's going to help with the because the Lions in the playoffs, they're going to have to control the possession. And with Montgomery back, that really, really helps you, especially late in these games where you need to kill the clock.
Yeah,
and put the game away. You know, that you got him. You got your freaking sledgehammer to go through and take it out. So
so I know at the beginning of the season, and I'm looking back and I'm just kind of laughing at myself. We gave our prediction on what the Lions record was going to be. And I remember I said 12-5.
Yeah.
And I'm like, not even close. I mean, 15-2. Are you kidding me? 15 wins?
Well, let me ask you this too. Like, could you even imagine that they would have to win 15 games to lock up the number 1 seed?
No, that's also
and it comes down to the last game.
Yeah, and you're up against Minnesota,
right?
With
I
2 14-win teams coming into that game. You're gonna have so that okay. This is kind of off topic, but it's not even in the show prep. But I thought about this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, we win. We earn the number 1 seed. We get the bye week, right?
Yep.
Minnesota drops to a 5 seed.
Yeah.
Okay. How would you feel about this? All right. So all the division winners, right? The 4 division winners, obviously you earn a playoff spot.
Yep.
No matter what.
Yep.
But what if, okay, those 4 are in, but what if when they do the seeding, they do it by record, right? So you don't have the Rams at the number 4 spot or the Bucks at the number 3 spot, where Minnesota would actually be, I don't know what theirs and the Eagles tiebreaker would be, but Minnesota actually could be 2 or 3.
They would be the 2 seed because the Philly has 13 wins. Yeah, I think they're 13-4. Minnesota's 14-3.
Okay, so there you go. So, and I think that would work out. So if you win the division, you're in, no matter what.
Yeah,
obviously, you get the 1 seed. How do you feel about that versus Minnesota? I mean, I hate Minnesota, but you can't take away they were 14-3.
Yeah,
and they're a 5 seed. They have a better, better record than the teams above them. How do you feel about if they just reseeded based off record?
I get what you're saying. It makes some sense, but to me, I think
I'm not saying it's the right move. I'm just curious to what
I think you should still be rewarded for winning your division, regardless of how crappy the division is. You should still be rewarded for it. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. It makes sense, but I still would stick with the current format, just because, like, for instance, like the Packers, right? They finished 11-6, right?
Yeah.
But they finished 1-5 in their division. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, I think where they're at as far as the 7 seed, right? Yeah, they're the 7 seed. That's where they belong.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, like, I see what you're saying. I guess I don't value Minnesota. Like, I don't value Minnesota as, I don't think they're better than Philly. They're definitely not better than the Lions.
I think let's take away the fact that it's just the Vikings. If I told you team A, B, C, D, and E, right, all make the playoffs, but team E is, the 5th seed with a better record than team B. Take away, because if it would have happened to us, if we were lost and would have been the 5th seed, maybe we're having a different conversation, and maybe, you're looking at it as, oh, the Vikings don't deserve to be there, but we would still deserve to be in the 2 seed if we had lost that game. So it's not necessarily the Vikings, just any team.
Just record-wise,
Record-wise. So I know why they do it the way they do it. I wonder if that's something maybe they look into, or you win the division, you deserve one of the top 4 seeds. And, that's where it's at right now.
I guarantee you it's going to come to some consideration that they might tweak something after what happened this year. But this year was just so weird because you look at the 10 worst teams. I was looking at the draft order. All 10 of the how do you want to say it? The first 10 teams to draft, they all had 5 wins or less.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah. And then you have so many teams that have, 11 or 12 plus wins?
There was no middle ground anymore. It's just like you had shitty and then you had like really good. But I think because there were so many really shitty teams, you had teams that looked better than they were, like Minnesota.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And maybe like the Packers. So I don't know. I'm good with the format as is right now. But it's
All right.
it's an interesting
That's good.
question.
Yeah, it's something to think about, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all right. Well, so we finished 15-2.
Holy shit! And we were a plus 200 point differential.
Plus 222.
Plus, yeah.
Best in the NFL this year.
Mhm.
We haven't been the points leader since I think it was 1952. Point differential leader.
Wow.
I don't know what that number was, but
I don't even think they were throwing forward passes back then.
Yeah, probably not. So I have I want to go through some of our season accomplishments and then kind of talk about
Sure.
a couple points. So
Yep.
I'm going to run through a couple of these. A lot of these, obviously, we know. I'll rip off a couple of these real quick. Back-to-back division champs, first time ever in franchise history. 15 wins. We're only the 9th team to ever do that in the NFL. Another franchise record.
Wait, you said the 9th team ever?
Yeah, in
9th team
NFL
ever?
history,
Wow.
to ever had to have 15 wins.
Wow.
8-0 on the road,
Yeah.
which
It's
is
amazing.
huge.
And there's a stat that I heard. So I think only 8 or 9 teams have ever done that, and 5 of them have won the Super Bowl.
And a lot of these stats that I'm giving off, it's all less than 10 teams that have been in these NFL records if we are not at the top.
Yeah. Yep.
So like this next one, 564 points scored. Franchise record, 4th in the NFL in history.
Mm-hmm. Granted, they do 17 games now, but it's still awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
It's still awesome. I know.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer, but
Wow, fine, whatever. I'm not.
Mike, no timeout.
I was just trying to read off some stats.
I'm sorry. I'll quit being
Oh, yeah, plus 222, but they only play 17 games.
Okay, I deserve a timeout. I've been giving enough to my toddler. Maybe it's my turn.
6,962 total yards.
Wow.
6th in NFL history.
Wow.
Obviously, we know about Gibbs, 20 touchdowns.
Yep. Is that a first in franchise history?
That's the most in franchise history.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most. Wow.
So he had he had Barry and I
Herman
forget.
Moore? Maybe? No.
No, Barry, it was another running back. I can't remember. I should have wrote it down.
Billy Sims? No.
No, it was closer, more of our era.
Jamal Williams?
Yes, Jamal Williams.
Yeah, he had a really
They
good
had
year.
17.
Yeah.
So he finished with 20. That's obviously receiving and
Right, I think he have 16 rushing for receiving.
Yes, yeah.
Gibbs, I laugh every time I see him play because I always revert back to when we drafted him because I was like, what the fuck? What are we doing? Why are we drafting a running back?
Everybody was wondering what the hell was happening.
Dude, he's
a stud.
He's electrifying. I could not imagine this team without him.
No.
He is so good.
He's so good.
Yeah.
And I've always been one, and I'll call myself out when it's time. I've always been one that saying that, running backs are no longer a part of the game anymore. I mean, obviously you have a few, but there was 16 running backs this year that had over 1,000 yards.
Really?
16.
Wow.
That is a huge number.
Wow.
Yeah. And
I did not know that.
And I've always been one to say, we don't pay running backs. Don't give them the money.
Well, do you think it's flipping? Do you think the game is starting to maybe balance out, I should say?
I think it's becoming more balanced. I think it's coming back to where it was in 2003, 4, 5, 6, when it was the game of the running back.
Sure. LaDainian Tomlinsons and
yes. Edgerrin James.
Yes.
Those guys. Yeah. So
Frank Gores and
I think it's kind of coming back to that. The receivers aren't going anywhere. I think we're just going to see more yardage.
By
these teams.
Yeah.
This next one I had, this is one of my favorite. We had 3,000 yards and 30 touchdowns, scrimmage yards, for just 2 running backs.
Wow.
Demo and Gibbs.
Wow.
That hasn't happened since the 2006 Chargers.
Wow.
We were just talking about. So
Breeze and LaDainian days, right? That would have been they were on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And then we get into some record breaking here. So 9 games, Jared Goff was 75% or better in his pass completion. He passes Tom Brady for the most in a single season in NFL history. So he is now the leader for the most games
with 75%
or better.
Wow.
Goff's a stud.
That's amazing.
Another Goff one, 72.4% of his completions. That's of all season. He was at 72.4. 4th in NFL history.
Wow. That's the 4th highest in NFL history?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Do you-
anybody hating on golf has
No.
has some apologies to hand out.
for sure. That's crazy, dude. Who is if you don't do you know who number 1 is by chance?
I do not.
Okay.
No.
I was
I was
just
just
curious.
kind of going through some of
Probably
our stats.
Brady or freaking Montana.
that would be good to look up.
Okay.
This is Goff's third season where he recorded 4,500 yards and 30 touchdowns. Only 5 other quarterbacks have ever done that.
Wow.
With doing that 3 seasons. Mahomes, Manning, Peyton Manning, not Eli.
Of course.
Tom Brady, Drew Brees, and Dan Fouts.
There's some damn good company to be involved with. Wow.
And then another one that I thought was really interesting was 148 completed receptions for Laporta in his first 2 seasons. That's the most for any tight end in the NFL history.
No shit. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those are some. I came across this site that was giving off all these different stats and stuff, and you don't know about that during the season.
No, you don't see that. Like, actually, a lot of those are very surprising. Laporta too had a quiet season. Like,
he did have a
very good but quiet season.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
Not like last year.
No. I think everybody was expecting him to get there and be better. But like, I think what he did this year was where you want him. Like, where you kind of want him.
Yes.
He was heavily involved in the offense. He's a great blocker. I mean, like, he's a stud too. But then J-Mo, I don't think a lot of people realize he got 1,001 yards. And I think you were telling me, was it you or somebody at work was telling me they inserted him into the game late to get those last couple of yards to put him over that mark.
Yeah, because we wanted to be one of those teams that have 4 guys that had 1,000 yards from scrimmage.
Yep.
It's funny you brought up J-Mo because I remember at the beginning of our the season, we did a podcast of who we were looking forward to, what we were expecting from players.
Yeah.
I remember one thing I said was I need to see more from J-Mo.
J-Mo, yeah.
Right? So here, his 2023, I'm going to go through these quickly. His 2023 stats, we had 24 receptions, 354 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
I don't remember exactly what I said back in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
But I do remember saying I wanted him to double everything.
Okay.
Double that.
Yep.
Well, he blew those numbers out of the water. 58 receptions this year.
Yep.
1,001 yards.
Yep.
And 7 touchdowns. So he pretty much almost over doubled, almost tripled everything that.
And I think he was so obviously, and he missed 2 games because he was suspended, right? For that.
Yeah.
And then he had his yards per reception was like 17.3, which I think was like 5th.
Yeah.
5th in the league, which is he had a great year.
Well,
you
know what J-Mo does? Makes big plays and gets fines. That's all he does.
Whatever.
Big plays and gets fines.
I don't care. Just keep it up, for God's sakes. Yeah. No, it was.
It was just an overall impressive season to watch these guys. I mean, we averaged 30 some points a game. Just unbelievable by this team to do that week in and week out.
Yep.
Yeah, our defense struggled. Right, I bashed on our defense a little bit myself too. Right, they showed up against the Vikings, but it was a concern that we should have had.
Yeah.
But they showed up when it mattered, and even when we were giving up 30 points in that 3-4 game stretch where we were giving up there, our offense was like, "Don't worry, we got this, guys."
Yeah.
Goff and the receivers and the running backs all took care of business and was able to go out there and get our dubs for us.
Yeah, and the offense is like. Obviously, it's probably the best in franchise history. And the one thing that they can do really well, too, is they can hold on to the ball. They can possess the ball, but then they can also hit you deep with their big play. But if they want to just go out and line up and run the ball 10 straight times and kill the clock, they can do that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think that's what sets this offense apart and helps your defense. And the thing with the defense, like I know the defense got gashed at times, but the one saving grace with the defense is that they're physical. And, you've seen a lot of teams this year. I think the Vikings are one of them. Like, they'll punch you in the mouth, and then teams aren't responding.
Right.
And then we get turnovers. Like, the one thing that impressed me with was the Niners game. We were getting gashed that first half.
Everybody was wide open for the 49ers.
And you know what they did? And Glenn made an adjustment, put Kirby in the center field. He's like, all right, just be our center fielder right now. Go get the ball.
Yeah.
And when you have 2 picks in the second half and completely just shut them down.
Yeah.
So, they got a good coaching staff.
hats off to you. 9 interceptions, led the NFL in interceptions this year.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Then he gets snubbed for the Pro Bowl too, which is nonsense. Like, come on.
Did he really?
I think he got,
and we put 7 guys in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, I think we were the second leading team with that, right behind the Ravens. So now, good for him. Good for them. Your boy Branch is in. You know, he's a stud. Yep.
Love Branch.
Yeah, but
no, it was great. I mean, I can't really get over how great this season was.
I think it way above exceeded our expectations. Way exceeded.
So you look at, we went 15-2 with the defense that we had.
And then the best division by far.
By far. 3 teams are in the playoffs. So what happens when you get everybody back on the defense?
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what I'm saying? If you get our defensive line, right, you get Hutch back, you get McNeil back, right? You get Carlton Davis back, you get Barnes back, Rodriguez back, you get all these guys back. What's going to happen out there then? Like, how good are we going to be?
Yeah, I'm
we going to be winning games 40-14?
Yeah.
Instead of 40-30?
I'm a little pessimistic as far as who we're going to get back. If Hutch comes back, it'll be a miracle. I wouldn't rule it out of me because the guy is phenomenal.
I mean like next season.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
I don't expect any of those guys back this year. I'm just saying next year when we come in with a healthy defense, what are we going to do to these other teams?
No, I think the Lions got control of the North for a while because we've got these guys locked up. You know what I mean? We're going to have Zadarius Smith again next year too. We're going to have Hutch on the opposite side, McNeil, Reeder. Hell yeah. Like, we're good. We're good for a while. And Branch, second-year player. He's going to be better next year. Kirby Joseph's, a third-year player? He's going to be better next year. Like, all these guys are still young, but they're still going to be better.
Yeah, and we're not going to have this team forever because contracts are going to come up. You're not going to be able to afford everybody. So let's get it done now. We have a window. We got a solid 3-4 year window with this team.
I'm confident that they're going to get it done.
And if we remember, you hear a lot of talk about, you got a small window. This is the first year the window is open. Remember last year, all we wanted to do was make the playoffs and get a win.
We weren't even a Super Bowl. Exactly.
We weren't even a contender ourselves. We weren't thinking we were a Super Bowl contender. Now, I said it before. We pried that window open last year.
Yeah, we did.
And made last year at the end of the season an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. But that wasn't. This is the first year.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I think, forget that. And they're like, okay, well, we missed it last year. But we weren't supposed to be there last year. We're supposed to be here this year, right? Yep. So the window just starts this year. So that 3-4 window started this year.
Yeah. You know what's crazy, too? I was thinking about this on my drive home from work the other day because I was thinking, the Lions and the Niners played in the NFC Championship game last year, and then they played a couple weeks ago, right? And I was comparing the Lions to the Niners, and I'm like, man, and I know the Niners have made the Super Bowl a few times, but they've tried to patchwork it with these quarterbacks, Jimmy G. I don't think Brock Purdy's the answer. But I look at the Lions, what they have going on, I'm like, I feel way better about the Lions getting it done over the Niners. I mean, obviously, I think the Niners window might be closed. I think they might be done. I mean, they're going to try and pay Purdy probably. McCaffrey's approaching 30. Kittle's over 30. Like, all these guys are getting old. Trent Williams, like, all these guys are old. Like, and they really botched it. They had the second or third overall pick at one point. They took Trey Lance, completely botched it.
He played, but he never
he's the third stringer in the Cowboys right now. It's just like, thank God we didn't go that route. Like, we're in way better shape.
Yes, that is so true.
Yep.
Yeah, you might see that team start to break up a little bit.
I think so. Yeah, I still like Shanahan.
I heard they're going away from their defensive coordinator. They're splitting wings.
Yeah. I think they offered they offered the job to Saleh again because Saleh had it before he had the Jets job. So that'll be interesting to see. So,
yeah, very good season, and it ain't over yet. It is not over yet. So, one thing that we wanted to do was go back and look at how good we were able to call our playoff predictions, what teams were going to make it. So, I know you have it pulled up.
Yep.
So, why don't you go ahead and run us through how many we got?
How many we got right?
How many we got right? How many we...
all right, let's,
we got which teams we got correct to make the playoffs and, which teams we got correct winning the division and stuff.
All right, let me get this pulled up. Give me 1 second because there's something else I want to pull up here too. Everybody just sit tight. Play your Jeopardy music or whatever.
We need a soundboard.
So this is going to determine whether the mics should continue or if we need to probably close up shop and maybe start like a jazz channel or something. And pillow talk.
Hey ladies.
We could do it. All right, hold on a second. Okay. All right, so let's start with the AFC, right? So in the AFC, we'll start with you, Mikey.
Okay.
So for the AFC, you had the Bills winning the AFC East. You had the Ravens winning the North. You had the Texans winning the South, and then you had the Chiefs winning the West. So congratulations, you got all of those right. Good for you.
Hell yeah. Well, wait, the Dolphins didn't win though.
But you had I got the so here's
I was looking at yours. Yeah. I was looking at yours. Oh yeah.
So this is you right here.
So I nailed those.
You nailed the AFC division winners.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Man, did I flop on the wild card.
Well, you had then you had the Ravens as the number 1 seed, which was that was pretty. What did they get, the 3 seed? So that was
Chiefs got it. Yeah,
Chiefs got it. Which I don't think a lot of people.
Divisions.
Yep. So and then for the wild card, you had the Dolphins, Jags, and Bengals. So not so good. You might want to take a drink.
What the hell was I thinking the Jags were going to be in there?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think. And you know what? A lot of people did. A lot of people predicted the Jags to be.
And I feel bad for the
year.
Bengals because Joe Burrow had one of the best seasons
that
you could imagine for a quarterback. So feel bad.
He's a stud, and it's really a shame with them. So all right, let's go to the
your AFC.
Let's do my AFC now. I had for the AFC East, I had the Dolphins winning it.
Yeah.
And then the North, I had the Ravens. Okay, I did get that
correct.
I had the Chiefs winning the West, and then I had the Texans winning the South, and I predicted the Chiefs would get the number 1 seed. So I did get that. Totally botched the.
So I think right off the gate we can come back for one more week.
I think we're all right.
How'd you do in your wild card?
All right, my wild
Jesus.
card. My wild card, I had the Bills, Chargers, and Steelers. So I actually did.
You nailed it.
I did pretty good.
So you did better than me in the AFC. Because I nailed the divisions, but I completely missed every wild card team. And you got.
But you got the. I mean, the nail.
You only missed one team.
Yeah. Not bad. I'll take it.
Okay. All right. What do we got? NFC.
All right. So for the NFC, for the division winners, you had the Eagles. Okay. Good job. You had the Eagles winning the East. You had the Lions winning the North.
Check.
You had the Bucks winning the South.
Check.
Good job. And you had the Niners winning the West.
And as the number 1 seed.
Yeah. But you know what? Everybody's probably going there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Losing
exactly.
CMC, whatever. And then for the wild card, you had the boys, the Cowboys, Falcons, and then the Rams.
Got that one right. Okay, so not bad. Not bad.
Not
Four
bad.
out of the
well, actually,
7 teams.
If you look at it, you nailed 7 out of the 8 division winners. That's pretty damn good.
Okay, yeah.
That's pretty damn good, okay?
Okay.
Yep. So you can maintain
I
as
like
co-host.
that we saved all this because this is fun to go back and see. Okay, so we kind of know what we're talking about.
Yep.
All right, how'd you do?
Well, NFC not so good.
Oh boy,
NFC,
you might want.
I might need to fill up my resume.
I need next week we're hosting interviews for another Mike.
It's gonna be Mike on the mic. I'll be sweeping the floors. I had the Cowboys winning the East. I had the Falcons winning the would that be the South? I had the Lions winning the North, and I had the Niners winning the West, and I had the Niners as the number 1 seed. Ugh.
Yeah. Okay, so you can save yourself with the wild card here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for the wild card, I had the Eagles, Bucks, and Rams. So
you got 4 teams. You just had them out of all your wild cards ended up being division winners.
Yes, that is true. So I guess I'm not that far off.
Okay,
I guess you and I kind of the Falcons weren't that far away, but I think we anticipated the Falcons being much better with Cousins.
Cousins going there having Bijan Robinson, Drake London. I thought they were going to be a decent team. I didn't think that
they would struggle.
I didn't think that Baker Mayfield was going to go off again for another season.
Yeah,
right.
He quietly had a really, really good year.
Yeah,
really good year.
He had a hell of a year.
His numbers were comparable to Goff. I mean, I'm not saying he was better than Goff. I'm not saying that. I still think Goff is a way better quarterback, but his numbers were comparable if you guys want to look. But yeah,
Okay, so in our defense on the teams that didn't make it in, okay, right? We just talked about the Falcons. Now we both had them in, but they didn't. Right? That was just
Nobody
a fail on our part. They just weren't that good. The Niners, let's give it to them. Their team completely fell apart.
Yeah, they had a lot of injuries. Right, McCaffrey going down.
But you know who else had a lot of injuries and still ended up with the number 1 seed and division winners and the bye week and 15-2 and the best record in franchise history and back-to-back division champs?
The Chiefs.
You're Detroit Lions, so you know what?
Yeah.
Forget them excuses.
Well, they don't have MCDC, so it is what it is. But yeah. What was I going to say? The Cowboys too. Like we both had the Cowboys in the playoffs, but they're just a dumpster fire. So I'm fine with that.
I think I'm just never going to pick the Cowboys ever again.
Okay, no, that's probably fair. That's probably fair, especially as long as Jerry.
And then the Dolphins. I mean, I thought they had a good chance. They almost made it in, but they had to rely on other teams losing, and it just didn't work out in their favor in the last week. So not too far off on either of our sides of them making it.
Right. You know what? The Dolphins probably would have made it if Tua wouldn't have. I don't know how long he was out for. He was out for a long time.
Oh, yeah, with his concussion. Yeah.
He was out a long time. So, and they damn near squeaked in.
Yeah.
So,
and then the Jags on my part, that's just a bad call. So.
A lot of people picked the Jags to be better this year. Like sometimes teams just lose it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just fall off. Yeah. Injuries and just broken culture, whatever. But
exactly.
All right, well, that was fun. I think actually we did pretty good.
I think we did pretty good.
Because you had some highlights. You hit 7 out of your 8 division winners. Like, that's really, really good.
Yeah.
And I did pretty well in the AFC as predicting the...
whether they were a division winner or not, you almost got all the teams to the playoffs. So that was good. So
we did pretty good. That'll be fun. We should continue doing that.
Yeah, we got to check our receipts or whatever on what we call out early in the seasons.
Absolutely.
So that's good because that's going to lead us right into Wild Card Weekend this weekend. The playoffs are here ready to go.
We can kick back, watch without any stress, figure out who the Lions are going to play.
Let
these teams beat the shit out of each other.
Good. Okay, so we're going to go through. We're going to give our predictions for each game.
Yeah.
So you want to start with the AFC?
Yeah, let's go with the AFC.
Okay, so let's go the first match. Now again, I don't know. I didn't have who plays on Saturday, Sunday. I know
that's fine.
AFC's playing Saturday mostly. That doesn't matter. Let's get into it. Number 7 Broncos versus number 2 Bills.
Okay.
What do you got? I mean, this one seems pretty easy for me.
I got Buffalo over Denver. Yeah. The spread on that game too is like almost. I think it's 8 or 9 points. That's a lot for a playoff game.
And Bo Nix for the Broncos, he's playing pretty well, but there's nothing you're going to do against Josh Allen in that offense.
Nope. That's just I don't see that one being close.
No.
So yeah, I'm with you there.
The next game that's on the docket is the number 6 Steelers versus number 3 Ravens.
Yeah, I think we pretty much know where we're going there, right?
Yeah. So this one I have. This is one of those. From, being a professional sports analyst now, since I nailed 7 out of my 8 division winners. I think, honestly, the Ravens are going to get it. Now, the Ravens and Steelers always have good games together. I do think the Ravens are gonna win that game.
Mm-hmm.
But I personally would like to see the Steelers win.
Okay.
Like my heart, I want to see the Steelers win, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think Ravens take that one.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking at that game right now. The Ravens are favored by 9.5 points. I think the Steelers are kind of like they peaked earlier in the season, and they're not playing that well. The Ravens are playing really well. It's in Baltimore. Like I don't know if I see that one being close. I agree with you. I don't want to see the Ravens advance because, we're looking at it from a Lions standpoint. We don't want to play them. They look like a pain in the ass. I going Ravens, hoping for Steelers.
Yes, exactly.
And you know what? You never know. And sometimes in these games, I love Tomlin as a coach.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. And a couple breaks, and this game could flip.
It could. And you got to think, and not to get too far off topic and talk Steeler football, but Tomlin he's never had a losing season as a coach, which as a Steelers fan,
it's amazing.
That's got to feel awesome for them to go in every season knowing that you have a legit chance of going, maybe not to the Super Bowl, but you're going to make the playoffs. But how long does that last for Tomlin?
Yeah.
Right? Yes, you're a winning coach. You never had a losing record, which means your career is a winning record. But is there ever a time for, I don't have the answer to that, but like, as a city, when do you start asking for him to be on the hot seat? Like, yes, you're in the playoffs every single year, but you also don't do anything every single year.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something to think about.
Yeah, I know. I just feel like, with Tomlin, like, I don't know if it's necessarily him. They haven't really given him a quarterback since Roethlisberger. Like, I think
this is true.
You know what I
This
mean?
is
Like,
true.
they need to go all in on a quarterback. And the problem is they keep winning year after year, so they don't get a high draft pick. But they may kind of have to sell their soul, move up in the draft or something like that, or whatever if they want to advance. But I like Tomlin as a coach. Sometimes, something just needs to be tweaked other than your coach. Keep the
you may have to have a losing season to be able to get back into it. But
yeah, that's what kind of sucks about the way the draft works. Their shitty teams are rewarded. But
you know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like a Pittsburgh problem, not a Detroit problem.
I agree. It's our time finally.
All right, next game we got number 5 Chargers against the number 4 Texans. Mm-hmm. To me, in the AFC side, this is the most exciting game coming out of the AFC for me.
I think it's because I think it's potentially going to be the closest.
It's going to be the closest. Two teams. I got to give it to your boy, even though I don't like him. I think Harbaugh is gonna. I think the Chargers is going to win. I personally would like Houston to win, but I think deep down that the Chargers are the team that's going to come away with this. It's going to be a close game.
So you're saying Stroud is going to be? He's about to be 0-3 against Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
So bring it back to Ohio State days.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Any chance I get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think LA is going to win this game. It wouldn't surprise me if Houston does pull it out, but Houston's been shaky all year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They've had moments, but they've been shaky all year. I think the Chargers play like that brand of football that translates in the playoffs. They run the ball, they play good defense, and they have a good quarterback. I don't expect the Chargers to advance very far in the playoffs other than this game, but I do expect them to win this game.
No, cool. Let's see. Because if looking at it real quick, if we go off who we said, we got the Bills, Ravens, Chargers winning, and that would mean the Chargers would be playing Kansas City next week because they would be the lowest seed.
Yep.
So they're done after they're losing in the divisional round.
Yeah,
more than likely.
Yep.
So that's unfortunate for them, but
that'd be a fun matchup in the playoffs because the Chargers played the Chiefs tight this year, and it was that
everybody played the Chiefs tight this year.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So who knows? You never know. You could see an upset there, but I don't see the Chargers. I don't see them making a huge run. But
well, let me ask you this really quick. Out of those 3 games in the AFC, like who? And I can't really say like the Chargers and Houston, like there's an upset, like there's a potential for an upset, but out of those 3 games, they're pretty close. Who do you think could potentially upset the other team?
I think the Steelers could upset the Ravens.
Okay, I agree.
I think that's
the closest too.
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't think the Broncos even stand a chance.
Yeah, I don't either. That's going to be an ugly game, I think.
All right, let's go NFC time.
Yep.
All right, we got the number 7 Packers versus the number 2 Eagles.
Yep.
What do you got for this one?
I got Philly.
Yeah, I got Philly too. I think Philly easy.
Yeah, the only thing that was kind of pushing me in the opposite direction just a little bit was, Hurts has been out. He had a concussion. Yeah. Barkley was a little bit banged up, but those guys are going to be back. Those guys are going to play. And on the flip side too, the Packers, Jordan Love, he can't feel in his throwing hand or whatever.
Yeah,
and he was knocked out. So I
think this is one of those games. Eagles are up by 2 possessions throughout the entire game.
I think so too.
It might might end up by 7-10 points, something like that. But I feel like the Eagles are always going to be winning.
Yeah.
It's not going to never really be a competition.
What's funny with Green Bay now, they lost last week in Chicago, right? They were 1-5 in the division this year. Green Bay used to have that advantage of playing in the cold. They don't have that anymore. Like the Lions went into Lambeau this year, earlier in the year, when it was cold and rainy and shit, and beat the shit out of them.
Yeah.
And then they lost to Chicago in Chicago this past week. They're going to have to go to Philly this next weekend where it's going to be cold as hell. I think you're right. I think this could potentially be like not close.
Yeah. This could be a blowout.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The next game, The number 6 Commanders versus the number 3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. To me, this is the game I'm most excited about out of the whole entire weekend.
Yep.
It's my favorite NFC matchup. It's my favorite matchup all weekend.
Yep.
Commanders, Bucks.
Yep.
I don't care what you have ranked as the 6 and 3. I think this is going to be a solid game. You can't deny what Jaden Daniels have done this year. You can't deny what Baker Mayfield has done
to watch.
this year. These two quarterbacks are going to be fun to watch this weekend.
It's in Tampa. It's going to be warm, or somewhat warm.
Right. But I'm going to say the Bucks take it.
Yeah.
What do you got?
I got the Bucks too, but I flip flop with this game because I could see the Commanders winning this game.
Yes, me too.
The Commanders' defense is but they do have Jaden Daniels.
Yeah,
it's a tall task for a rookie to go in and win a playoff game like this, but
on the road,
yeah. But it is played in Florida, which probably would help them a little bit in some sense.
Yes.
But I'm really excited for this game. I'm glad it's a Sunday night game where I can actually sit and watch it. But I got the Bucks too.
I got the Bucks winning, but this is one of the game I want Washington to win.
Sure.
I want Washington to win, but I think the Bucks got it. Then the last game of this season, last game of the weekend, the number 5 Vikings versus the number 4 Rams. I hate both these teams. I just absolutely hate these teams. Can both teams lose?
I hear you.
I think the Rams are a scary team right now, to be honest. And most people know I am not a Stafford fan. I was never a Stafford fan when he was here. But I can't deny when people are due credit. And I think the Rams win this game, and I think they win this game. Not a blowout, but easily.
Maybe by 10 points or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be similar to the Eagles-Packers, where they're just always going to be up.
Mm-hmm. Minnesota's always going to be trying to play catch up, and just never ever get there. Yeah, I think that's possible. I think the Rams are going to win. I feel like you said earlier, like Minnesota lost twice and they lost this past weekend. And plus, the Rams and Vikings actually played earlier this year, and the Rams beat them.
That's right. Yeah.
And I think that game was in LA. So I expect the Rams to beat them. They got Cooper Kupp back. They got Nakua. No, they're well coached too.
Yeah.
And Stafford can
a good team.
Stafford can still sling it. Like, I don't care what anybody says, he can still sling it. I think they're gonna touch him up pretty good.
And you asked me on the last podcast, or within the last couple podcasts, we were doing our power rankings, and you asked me who outside of my power rankings do I think would make a run in the playoffs, and I said the Rams. Now, hopefully their run is just one game, because if the games go how we have it predicted, what we're saying, that means they'd be playing the Lions next week. So that run should hopefully is just one game. Okay.
Well, think about it. So if the Lions had to play the Rams again, that means they would have to beat them 3 times in a calendar year.
So I know we had to play the 49ers, but take that game out from last year. There's a solid chance that we play the Rams and then we go play the Bucks. Again,
just
repeat from last year, right? I mean, obviously we'll see what happens, but there's a chance if these pan out.
Yeah,
which
that's crazy to think. Wow.
So we went through our predictions. All right, we got what we want. We'll come back. We'll check these. We'll run back next week and see how well we did. But taking away what you think is going to happen, what we're predicting, who would you like the Lions to play in the divisional round?
The Packers. The Packers, because I think we beat the shit out of them again. But and
that's a fair. That's a fair, because that means we the number 2 seed out of the way.
Yes, yeah, that exactly.
And so I'm not mad at that. I mean, the Packers would be nice.
But that's a tall task. But I mean, you never know. You never know, because Philly has that dysfunctionalness kind of going on with them. You know what I mean? They've always kind of have that lingering with them. So
because the only options are the Packers. Here, it'd be easy to say this: we will not face the Eagles or Bucks. That's out of the question, right? Those two we just cannot play because of the seeding.
Sure.
So the other 4 teams are the potential. So out of those 4 teams, you'd rather play the Packers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Packers, and probably after that would be the Commanders.
Yeah. So I'm not hating on the Packers.
How about you?
So I agree with you with the Packers as just because I think we would kick the shit out of them. I kind of looked at it from, can we play a new team?
Yeah, sure.
So I would like to play the Commanders. I think it would be a fun game. I think we would handle them very well, but it would be cool to play a new team. I mean, watch them play Green Bay for the third time. Watch them play the Vikings for the third time.
Yeah.
Like, beat you twice.
Yeah.
And we beat the Rams earlier this year. And we beat them in the playoffs. Like, do we want to play? So, I mean, I get how this is probably going to play out. Mm-hmm. I'm just looking as like, can we get a new team in there?
Yeah.
Can we watch a new team? So I would go with Washington, but obviously Green Bay would be. But I honestly think we'll be facing the Rams. Okay. I think that's who it's going to come down to.
You're probably right. Well, let me ask you this. Who do you, out of all those teams we've kind of listed, who is the team you'd like to play the least?
The Rams.
The Rams for sure? Yeah.
I mean, honestly, yeah. I'm not afraid of Green Bay. I'm not afraid of Minnesota. The Bucks, I guess we wouldn't even play the Bucks. Aren't a question yet. Who's the other team? Oh, the Commanders. Yeah. I'm not really scared. I mean, I'm not even scared of the Rams. I just think they're just rolling, right? And you know how that goes, right? With any team, you get rolling, and you can be unstoppable at some point. So it's going to be a good matchup.
I think so too.
I think it'll be similar to last year's game. I mean, last year was no easy win for us to beat the Rams.
No, it wasn't easy at the beginning of the year too. We had to beat them in overtime.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, I still see the Lions, coming out of the divisional round winners, but it's going to be tough. You see the Rams, you're like, all right, well, this is going to be a pacing back and forth behind my couch all night long type of game.
Yep.
Versus when you get the Packers and I can pull an Aaron Glenn and go ahead and sit back and just chill.
Yep. I hear you.
Who do you least want to face?
Oh, the Rams.
Yeah, I think that's
because you know what? If the Lions had to play the Rams again, like I guess I would still pick the Lions to win. But like, if you came to me in the future, like, dude, I'm sorry, but the Rams actually won, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I get it, because third time, Stafford, McVay. I know people don't like him. I think he's a damn good coach. The receivers, I mean,
you can't deny them. Yeah,
they're damn good. They're a pain in the ass. So, yeah, I don't want to play them.
No. Well, let's just go Commanders.
Yes.
Just go Commanders.
Yeah.
Go get the win, because if you
Commanders or Pack.
If you get the win, then that's who we're playing.
Yep.
Okay. I don't want to see Minnesota again. I don't want to play the Rams.
You're right.
So I'm all in on Washington and Green Bay.
That would be a fun watch. That would be a fun watch for
Green
sure.
Bay. I hate that team.
Likewise.
All right, and then we'll come back next week and see how we actually did. All right?
Yep.
So, all right, well, we're gonna close this out with this week's Stud and Dud. This was a tough one.
Yeah, because we haven't. It's been a while since we've had a recording, and there's been a lot of things going on. So yeah, I hear you.
So, all right, what do we want to do first? Our duds?
Yeah, let's do our duds. Go ahead, give me your dud, and then I'll give you mine.
So I went back and forth on this. I'm going to stick with my original dud, and that's the NFL broadcasters. You guys are duds.
Yeah.
It's the last 2 weeks. Listen, I'm going to call myself out. I beat up on our defense a lot, right? I, said that, I didn't know how well we were going to do. But that never meant that we couldn't win a game. I said we just had to put up a lot of points.
Yep.
And that's what our team does.
Yep.
So for these broadcasters to come out the last couple of weeks and just not pick us and just dog us.
Yeah.
Like they don't know what's on the other side of the ball.
Yeah.
That's why I'm giving them a dud, right? And I think last weekend shut them up.
Yes.
0 touchdowns, 9 points that we gave up.
And you know what? The Lions have done this a few times now, where it's just like where they're not, their backs aren't against the wall, but the pressure is on them to come through. You know what they do? They just come through like Stone Cold Steve Austin in like a WrestleMania and start bashing everybody over the head.
That's right, exactly.
And knock everybody out.
Exactly.
So like that's what they do. It just adds more faith that I truly believe that this team is getting it done.
Yes,
this team is going to get it done. Sometimes there's things that happen that you can't necessarily explain. It's just like it's destiny.
Exactly. Yes.
And I know I'm a Homer Michigan Wolverines fan, but this team compared to last year's Michigan team, there's some similarities. Like, it just, Michigan was on this path last year that they were not going to be denied, regardless of what happens in the game. Even like that Minnesota game, Goff had 2 picks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the Vikings didn't turn the ball over at all, but we still found a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We find a way regardless of what happens. In the Michigan-Alabama game last year, Michigan looked like shit kind of for most of the game. And then at the end of the game, they put together this 2-minute drive. Do it just because they figure it out.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Fuck them broadcasters.
Yeah. Get out of here. What do you got?
Dud? Well, I'm actually going to dud myself.
Ooh, self-dud. Those are rare.
My therapist has once told me, it's like, accountability, honesty, that's the key. So I'm going to roll with it. And that's just kind of what I'm feeling, because I doubted Sharon Moore. I'm going back to Michigan, deal with it. And then also too, because over my holiday break, I watched the Ohio State and Oregon game, and secretly, I didn't tell anybody this. I'm telling you now. I'm telling the world.
I was going to say, you're just going to tell the world.
Telling the world. I secretly wanted Ohio State to win that game, and I'm really disappointed in myself. So I'm dudding myself.
Okay.
And I'm also in the Jets organization, they're an honorable mention. But myself, I'm the dud.
Yeah. Well, my honorable mention, the Vikings organization were trying to buy seats for us, and you still just saw blimps of fucking purple. But, all right, you know what? I'm going to give you you dudded yourself. That's tough to do.
Yeah.
That is tough to do. So
yeah,
hats off to you.
Yep.
Hats off to you.
Yep.
All right. It's time for the studs. All right, so mine's kind of a group, but it all kind of falls into the same category. So my stud is the 4 guys on the Lions, Gibbs, Demo, J-Mo, St. Brown, for all with 1,000 yards from scrimmage.
Yep.
Right, we talked about this earlier in the show. They're one of less than 10 teams to do this. The first team to ever do it with 2 running backs and 2 wide receivers. So those 4 are my studs of the week. It's just impressive to have offense. Those guys get 4,000 yards. Like, again, earlier we talked about this, and there are so many people to choose from, and who I wanted to give that to, but I'm giving it to those 4 players. They deserve it.
Yeah, I hear you. That's a great one. It's just crazy when you look back at 2020 and then you see where this team is at now. Like, it's like a miracle. So
yeah, exactly.
That's a good one.
All right, who do you got?
I'm gonna go AG, Aaron Glenn.
Stud.
That's
right. Aaron Glenn, just chilling.
Yep.
Straight chilling.
Yeah, he deserves it, man. He deserves it. Take some time off, take a break, go to a Pistons game. Oh, he did do that.
Oh, standing ovation for him there. That was awesome.
He deserved it, man. What a game plan. And he's kind of done it all year. I mean, like, they've been, obviously we know the injuries, but he's come up with these adjustments and game plans throughout the year, and completely shut some of these offenses down, and he did it again. So I do want to give a couple honorable mentions, because
absolutely,
if that's cool, JB Bickerstaff for the Pistons, and then I guess you could kind of give it to, I'll just give it to Todd McClellan. I can't even talk, for the Wings.
He deserves it. I mean, he came in, he put this team on a hell of a winning streak. They're trying in the right direction.
Yep.
What did he say? Just play fucking hockey.
Yes.
You've done it your whole life.
And since then, they've really responded.
Yeah.
So that's cool. The Pistons are over 500. They won 14 games last year. And now they're, 19 and 18. I mean, I know they're not world beaters, but they're playing damn good.
Hey.
And it's progress.
You got to start
progress
somewhere. Yeah, that's huge.
And I'm going to give Gore some credit, too. Like, he did screw this team up, but he admitted, cleaned house, paid these guys off, got rid of them.
Yeah. You know why? That's because I gave him a dud earlier this year.
He heard that.
He heard it.
Now
he's saying, okay, good.
He's driving around in his freaking spaceship, and he's like, all right, I better listen to the radio. He's like, I better
listen to what these mics got to say, because I can't be going around being a dud.
Yep, can't be doing that. So,
no, I like those are all good ones.
Yeah,
all good ones. That was a fun show.
Mm-hmm.
This was a good one. I am excited for playoff football.
Me too.
Especially
this weekend. We can just kick back, relax.
That's what's so nice about it. Taking a bye week off. I'm treating it like a bye week for myself. My heart, my feelings, my anxiety. Everybody gets a bye week off this week, and we get to just watch some football.
Yep.
I don't care what happens. It is what it is, and it's going to be fun. But it was a fun show.
Was a good show. Yeah, good job, Mike. I'm going to give you
Yeah.
High five.
High five.
High fives.
Yeah, no, that was fun. We'll get back next week. We'll go over our predictions and find out what team shit the bed or
we'll
came
see
on
who
top.
Our Detroit Lions are playing.
Oof.
And we can break down that game next week.
Next week.
Stick around. Listen for. Thanks for listening, everybody. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Yep.
We love all you guys, and enjoy the bye week.
Yep. Cheers, y'all.
Cheers. Go Detroit.